So, spoke about the night before, so in the day of the build-up, so me, I'm a fan, take my wife, first ever St Mirren game she went to, left with the impression we would always win, obviously. Took my son, who was 8 at the time, and his best friend. And saying my son had been bringing to Love Street. But at the time, it was the usual thing. He would normally, I'd be kind of on the old West Stand, standing up. He'd go down the front with all the kids and watch it. Different going to Hampden, because we drive up, park close to the stadium. We're walking up, and of course, it's a sea of black and white and tangerine and black. And I remember when we got in, and we were in the stand facing the tunnel with the other St Mirren fans, and we sat him and his pal up on the barrier so they could actually see. But I remember looking at one point, it was kind of like, why is there all these people here, you know? For him, it was a real, just that kind of almost shock of so many, and the noise, and just the kind of the sense of atmosphere. So for the players before the game, what's the procedure?
The exact same as you and your children. It was incredible. But before the game, as I said, we met for a breakfast, but it was just toast or whatever. Then the pre-match, the build to that, the manager had the meeting, and he sat and we went through it. We'd done all our work that week on tactically what we were going to do and things. But Alec had spoke about this was a journey now, and it was the final part of the journey, and go out and enjoy it and win this. You know what I mean? And he always said, to be fair, I know it's used a lot. He says, but if you do win it, every one of you sitting in this room will be a legend and be remembered forevermore. So it was quite a stirring speech, and Jimmy Bone the same, and it was good. But we had the pre-match, and then of course the team's known. Then there's disappointment as well. But I've got to give again the Peter Godfreys, the Chalmers, all these guys. Great credit, because they never showed it going up in the bus and stuff. And as you say, as you travelled through, because we went through Barhead and different ways to get to Hampden, and it was just all the way there as well. We went earlier, of course, but it was still black and white everywhere. And as you arrived at the stadium, it was incredible, because we just seemed to outnumber Dundee United fans, and it was just a sea of black and white. And just like yourself, my family, my wife, and my son Paul had just no long been born as well, but he was at the game, and along with my daughter Lorraine. So I had family members there. My dad was there, my mum was there. So it was great. It was just it was a fantastic. You just say I'm reliving it in my mind now as I was driving there, and it was just, and you get that inspires you.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, you shouldn't be. No, it shouldn't be. No, there's nerves always before any game, but just when you look about it and you just think, if you need that extra motivation, and what it meant to everybody, and that was said in the dressing room as well. No, players ourselves going round each other, and there was one thing is if we didn't play too well, but what we did say as a bond was, we'll give everything. We'll give everything.
So. Alex Smith is a manager, because you'd worked under Sir Alex Ferguson, Jim Clooney, you worked under?
I worked under them all, Jim, Ricky McFarlane, worked under them all, How,
in what way was he different, and what way did he kind of,
it was
especially motivating you?
No, Alec was, as I say, I'm not being disrespectful, Alec, but there's only one manager you can, Sir Alex Ferguson. I mean, Alec came in and made Jimmy Bone his assistant, which Jimmy used to play here, and we knew the players anyway and stuff. Alec was a very quiet guy, but good man-manager. Kept things bubbling over. He was very shrewd tactically. It was great. I always remember the first one against Inverness Thistle. We were in the Glen Hill Hotel, and there was just starting off in the cup, and he said, we're playing Inverness Thistle today, and he says, we can win the cup. This is their cup final. He says, but if we're being realistic, we've got 5 games to play in a cup, and this team in here is capable of going and winning the cup. Them winning the cup is beating you today. And I was sitting, I wasn't involved in the game, but I was in the team meeting and stuff, and I thought, I know it, you know what I mean, because we are capable of winning it. And that belief started then.
Really? As far back as that?
And we struggled that game as well, but we ended up winning it. And I think as it went on, I think Alec was very used that very cleverly and sort of built the players to believe that it was their year. So he's a top manager. Yeah.
But he didn't go shouting and ranting about it. It was more kind of subtle.
No, he was very subtle. Alec's a quiet-spoken guy. He can lose his temper like any manager, but generally under Alec it was very calm, and he would speak very calmly.
So you already knew you were going to be in the bench?
Yes.
Right, yeah. You were wearing the number 14 shirt that
day?
Yeah,
that's right, yeah.
So if we just even moved to the game itself, I think, as you say, if we're being honest, probably the performance against Hearts in the semi
was the best.
Was a better performance, because I remember as a fan looking and thinking, I know we've got players capable of really turning, but for some reason either passes weren't connecting. Players just first touches were letting people down, and I think on both sides it seemed pretty nervy.
Because they'd lost the final 4 days before or whatever, a major final. And they came, but you're right, that day was scrappy and it was a poor, and I remember sitting, and Alec, even after, I always remember him turning to me and saying, Tony, go and get warmed up after half an hour.
Oh really?
Yeah, and he's saying, listen, and then I think it was 5 minutes before the end of the game, he sort of got us aside and said, look, go on and try and calm it and get on the ball and make passes and stuff like that, and just
as you're sitting there watching it, from the dugout, is part of your mind, are you kind of almost like conflict? Is it, I just want us to score and win, or is it, but I need to get on?
Well, I went on. I wanted on, but I want us to win, of course. Yeah. But when I came on, it was good bringing me on at that time, because it gave me a couple of touches of the ball, and then we were after that, we went into extra time.
So Paul Lambert you replaced, was it?
It was Paul, Paul came off, and I came on, so no, it was, and it was great. And it was just, when you were on the park, and you knew, because you get a feel when you're on a park with players, and I could feel they'd got a goal disallowed, if you remember.
Well, I'm just going to ask you about that. No, that's all right, because I mean, once again, you as a fan, I remember that ball going in, and it just, the feeling in
my
your stomach
dropped
was just,
as well.
it did. And and it wasn't, I was still kind of in my personal grief. I heard someone saying, he's offside. And and having watched it back now, so I think the argument was that Ken Gallagher was actually, because the cross came in, Big Campbell palms it out. And I remember, because Terry Butcher, having watched it back, was one of the co-commentators. He says, a great save, pity it just went out to Ferguson. He rattles it in. By this stage, Gallagher's behind Campbell in the goal line. There was a St Mirren player with him, I'm not sure who it was.
It was Tommy Wilson. It was Tommy Wilson.
So, now, it's interesting, because on the TV, Archie McPherson said he thought the offside was legitimate. Terry Butcher said he thought it should have been a goal.
No.
At the time, did you think...
I thought they'd scored, but when you look back on it now, it's this offside rule, but they keep changing all the time. Yeah. It was generally offside. Although, to be fair, he wasn't interfering. You'd be gutted if that was St Mirren. But see, for that, on the park, I looked about, and I felt their players just, they thought, oh, that's us again. You get that feel, and then we started to control the game, to be honest. No, we went on, and the visualisation I had just before Fergie scored, I don't know if you look back, I've had a shot. I know many people look at that. But me and Ian Cameron nearly scored before Fergie, because I was a goal scorer, but I always remember it was a good distance out, but I've hit this shot, and one of the moments I thought, that's gone in. And it just went over the bar, and then Cammy had a good chance, and then Fergie went through and scored.